Lucas Sports. So WBC middleweight champion Jermall Charlo did an interview, and I'm gonna give the credit Robert Newman. He did an interview on Robert Newman's YouTube channel. Y'all go check it out. But he just talked about a little bit of why he's been off and the things he's been focused on. He talked about how he moved from Houston. I remember him and Jermall had a YouTube channel, and he had like a house and all that, bowling alley. He said that he no longer stays there, and he lives in Houston. He lives in Pensacola, and he's with Roy Jones. I believe Roy Jones may be is training them or advising them. And for those who don't know, Roy Jones, one of the greatest fighters, went from middleweight champion to heavyweight champion. Some of the fastest hands ever in boxing. But he's down there, Roy Jones' hometown, Pensacola, Florida. And he just talked about it. He said that, he had some things to focus on. I just made a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about how Jermall was saying he don't know if Jermall will be able to come back. But Jermall said, he had some things that was happening, a lot of personal things outside the ring, and how he had to change his environment. And he also said that, he's still going through it. He's still on the journey back to how he was. And the interview also asked, as he talked to Jermall about the Canelo fight, he said they really haven't talked about that. And that, from what he was saying, they may talk, but not as much. They both live in two different paths. And from what, if you watch the old videos, they was always together. You seen one, you seen the other. They both was just running around, trying to, trying to be the alpha dogs on people, trying to be the alphas. But hey, I know they're both a little older. And sometimes people grow in different ways. And I'm sure they still love each other, that they twin brothers. But one is doing one thing and one is doing the other, and that's what he was saying. He talked about that. He didn't get a lot of details, but he talked about that, and he said that he's definitely gonna come back. He's still the WBC champion. The Suleiman, the president of WBC, said that he can, take all the time he needs. He won't have to give up the belt, which, I get on these sanctioning bodies all the time, but, because they'll be fickle. When one person can keep the belt, the other person will just win a fight, and then they got so many days to make the mandatory. They got to give it up. So I would like that to be fair all the way across the board. But they told him to take all the time he needs. Jermall also was talking about how he don't necessarily need a tune-up fight. Like, he can go right back to defending his title. I would like to see him do get one or two tune-up fights under his belt. When you take time off from anything but boxing, one punch you can be done, it's kind of hard to jump right back in it. But I'm glad to see Jermall's working on things. He's overcoming. And like I said the other day, man, they human. People go through stuff all the time, and I ain't gonna never knock nobody to take time away to focus on things like that. But what y'all think?